Welcome back to the Fast Break, friends. It is late Tuesday night, and we just got done watching the first two play-in tournament games. A phenomenal evening of basketball tonight. Two absolute barn burners. We got overtime. We got game-winning shots. Both of them came down to the wire, and we're here with Todd to talk about both of them tonight. But just an absolutely fantastic night of basketball. Todd, I know we just talked about it before we got on here, but was this the best night of playing basketball that we've had so far with this tournament?
I haven't done like the actual research on this, but as far as a single night East game leading into a West game, vibes based, definitely my most memorable night of watching NBA play-in tournament basketball. Like you had likable teams, great games, stars. Yeah, I just thought the crowd in Phoenix could have been a little bit better. That first half was a little sleepy, and I was getting a little worried about it. But then it got really picked up in that midway through that third quarter when they really made their run and yeah, last third of that game was awesome.
Yeah, well, let's start there. Good matchup. I was excited for this one all day too because I wasn't quite sure where I thought I was going to go with it just because Phoenix has had the injuries and they've kind of started playing a little bit better towards the end of the year. Portland had a hot start or hot end to the season, so I was excited to watch them in an actual elimination scenario instead of some of these meaningless regular season games and getting to beat up on some of the bottom of the West. But hot start by Phoenix, obviously got up 8 over Portland to start off, but then Deni and Drew started cooking, and that was going to be a common theme throughout the night. Really, from this game, the main takeaway for me personally was Deni was phenomenal, and he's ready for playoff basketball, and he's ready to become more of a household name that I think he will in this next series. Back and forth, really, for most of the game, common theme tonight. Phoenix finally kind of started pulling away kind of in that early fourth quarter. And I kind of did think it was over for Portland, just with nobody being able to really create too much on offense besides Deni and be able to penetrate the defense and put pressure on them. Especially when he was missing free throws. I really kind of thought it was over there. And that push towards the end was kind of led by Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green. Jalen Green with a phenomenal night tonight, 35 for him. Did not have, did not see that one coming. He was very good. It looked like the one good playoff game that he had last year when he was with Houston. So that's a good sign. First, bigger picture wise, if you're Phoenix, that's a great sign for them. You're like, okay, cool. We actually did get something back for Kevin
Yeah, he
Durant.
was in his fucking bag tonight.
But and then he was. Nobody could stay in front of him. He was just faster and more athletic than everybody. On Portland, and Portland's a great defensive team as well too, with Drew Holiday and Kamara at the point of attack
They
there. I
have
mean,
dudes
that's
to
not
be
an
able to throw at
easy
you.
couple of
Even
guys to
off the
keep
bench, you
by.
got Tybalt, Scoot. I mean, there's so
Mhm.
many different guys they could throw at him. And then obviously the rim protector on the back end clinging. And he was just really able to kind of do whatever he wanted. It felt like Booker struggled a little bit more with some of the
Mhm.
physicality that they were bringing, but they just couldn't stay in front
Right.
of Jalen the way he was weaving in and out of those pick and rolls. I think I finally realized who he is tonight. I think he's J.R. Smith.
Hit me with it.
Which, and I looked this up. J.R. Smith's
Okay.
career playoff high was 28 points. Obviously played in a different era. Think in this era he could maybe, shoot drop 35.
Yeah.
But dude, just super freak talented guy that is inconsistent and isn't someone you're going to
Yeah.
want to build your franchise around, but could win you a playoff game or series.
Yeah. No, I mean, if he's still really young too, so I mean, he has potential to surpass. But J.R. Smith was very good. He was honestly a little underrated when you like kind of look back at his career, just kind of because of what he was at the end. Some great years in Denver
Hit on a
there,
lot of good teams. Those
but I
Knicks
like that.
teams,
I
those
mean,
Denver teams, and then of course the
yeah,
Cavs teams that he was in the playoffs with consistently with LeBron are a really important part of all those teams.
Yeah.
Just getting buckets.
I like that comparison a lot. And we'll see if he kind of stays inconsistent most of his career like J.R. Smith, or if he puts it together a little bit more. Hopefully, if you're Phoenix, you're hoping he puts it together a little bit better than J.R. Smith did, but still good comp because the athleticism is kind of off the charts with him. And if they do end up, because I guess I'll finish up the wrap up here, but then Deni really started attacking the defense. Couple of beautiful drives to the basket. That one finger roll to uh, either tie it up or
Almost
put them
got a
up by
tee
two
afterwards.
towards the end of the game was just
I was like, "Don't get a
yeah.
tee!
And
Don't
then
get a tee!"
at the tee afterwards. Yeah, well, because they handed out a couple of them. I mean, Dylan Brooks got one just for I think just clapping, right? Did he say anything? I thought it was just
Yeah,
clapping.
kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
clapping menacingly.
Staring at the
Yeah.
ref. Yeah.
He's a crackhead, but hey, it's what he's got to do. It's what he's got to do to be, who he is. And I mean, like I said, most of this was led by Denny, but Jeremy Grant activated today 2 corner threes that were if he doesn't make either of those, they lose. Like they needed both of those in those moments. Extremely clutch. So good to get him back for Portland for sure. I mean, Portland was down, I think, 11 at one point in that fourth, so not an easy comeback. But Portland goes on the road, takes the 7 seed. Now they're going to be on playing San Antonio. But um, like I said, if you're going to take anything from this, it's kind of a Deni Avdija legacy game. And he hit a level that I wasn't sure that he could necessarily hit in this game. He finished with 41, 7, and 12 on 15 of 22. And your other highest scorers were Drew with 18 and Grant with 16. So like you weren't getting a ton from everybody else. It was really all on his shoulders, but just a great game by them. And um, yeah, I mean, do you think Portland necessarily has a chance going forward here, or can they even throw one punch
Well,
at San Antonio?
offensively, it was. I mean, there were stretches there where I was like, "Man, like this is tough." And especially like when they're
Yeah.
not getting stops, it can get ugly. And it did get ugly there for a little while. I think it was a 25-6 run at one point by Phoenix, really threw a haymaker after being down in that 4 to 10 range, felt like for a majority of that beginning part of the in the second and third quarter. I don't know. I feel like if Deni was playing in that earlier game where there was way less free throw shot, again, I mean, we'll see when the playoffs further develop. I'm gotta say that that
Mhm.
Eastern game, that felt more like a playoff game than this one did. This still was high intensity, but in
Yeah.
terms of some of the refereeing, I did think that they let him play a little bit more
Yeah.
in the Charlotte and Miami game versus in this one, there was a lot more free throw shot. And as we know, that is a huge part of his game. So we'll see. Obviously, he's taken his game to another level. They really build their offense around his ability to be able to get to a spot. I mean, and he really can. Like, I remember at one point when Booker had that fifth foul and there was about 4 minutes left, I think. All I was saying every single time, like Denny's bringing the ball up, I'm like, all right, get Booker in the action and attack him because Denny's going to be able to get to a spot no matter what, especially if it's Booker guarding him, definitely, and he's going to be able to bump him off and be able to get to the rim.
Yeah.
But hopefully, he can even pick up that fifth foul on Booker or sixth foul on Booker and send him to the bench for the night. So I worry about their offense though. I really do, and I mean it's not like Phoenix is bringing anybody as far as a guy defending the rim, and San Antonio's definitely got one of those. So we'll see. I'm really excited about this Portland San Antonio matchup, though. I think, we'll talk more about that on Thursday, but just in terms of Klingon and Wemby kind of battling two completely different
Hmm.
types of young big men that are really, really playing well. Klingon's a fucking
Hmm.
handful, dude. He's a big ass
Yeah.
dude. My
Yeah, dude.
lord.
Yeah, well, and he knows how to use it as well too, as far as like boxing out. I mean, I'm not sure. Did he end up finishing the season leading the league in rebounds? I'm not 100% sure, but I know he's
I'm
right
pretty
up
sure he
there if
led
he
it in
didn't.
offensive, at least offensive rebounds. I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's been really good all year. And now that Portland actually has like a couple of shooters in the post Dame era, although I know Dame is back, but getting those second chances for Deni and Drew and Grant and those guys, that's why they've been able to put it together on offense enough and help their defense out as well too. But I loved Clean coming out of the draft. I thought it was one of the better picks considering where he was taken in that
In a
draft
weaker draft.
because it wasn't loaded. Well, yeah, yeah, and I like that pick for Portland a lot. Now we'll see if he can continue to shoot some threes and be able to space the floor a little bit, which he started to show signs of in the second half of the year. You know, we're talking a guy that
That's a
could potentially
legitimate
be an
weapon.
all-star level player. Especially what he can do on the defensive side. And, you know, he's going to be one of the best rebounders in the league for probably the next 10 years. So Portland has that to look forward to. And you know, he's kind of got that nastiness that the Yukon guys get from Hurley. You know, you look at Steph Castle, like they're dogs on the defensive side of the ball. On that 2 year run they had, they produced a lot of guys that you would want on your team. So I just like how they've built this team and put this team together for Portland with just the addition of Deni and drafting and, you know, and then bringing Drew in. And Drew didn't really want to be here, but now he's kind of bought in because he is a team guy. And yeah, I mean, this is good for Portland. They're gonna get smacked, but you know, these type of scenarios for young teams where you get the one game where you actually can win and move on and get that feeling of moving on is just good for a team that doesn't have that much experience with that type of stuff. And then, you know, next year you finish a little bit higher. You don't have to be in the play-in. You get to play a team that you could potentially beat, and you get to add Dayton. So I mean, love the way the organization is moving, and they've done a good job, even though they've you know every once in a while shoot themselves in the foot, you know, because of who they drafted or whatnot. And I want to give a little bit of shout out to Scoot. He had about a 3 to 4 minute stretch in the first half where he was dunking it and making threes and stealing the ball, playing great on ball defense. And I was, you know, I was getting calls about my real estate on Scoot Island. I said, we're going to hold. We're going to hold right now. We might have some bigger investors coming in soon. And then they didn't fucking play him in the
Yeah,
second half.
kind of got buried.
So full Scoot
I
experience
felt like
tonight.
they could have used him on Jalen Green as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, when he was
Yeah.
going off. I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't know. It was interesting to
interesting decision
maybe
by Tiago.
he. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything online either because I did look into it. But maybe he got banged up and we didn't know about it. Who knows? I mean, obviously they have a deep
Yeah.
rotation. You know, I saw he was +8 in the minutes that he was out there. Maybe there was a 5-man lineup that, you know, Thiago was being told like, "Hey, this lineup's really working for us," and Scoot just kind of didn't end up getting back in the game. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays. That's another
Yeah.
kind of underrated thing is Scoot Wemby, that draft. Obviously that's not a real
Yeah.
thing, but you know, maybe for Scoot it is. He's like, I
Yeah,
was,
maybe for
you know, I
you.
was fucking this guy. I was in this guy's draft. I was considered the best American player for a long time until people were like, "Oh, Brandon Miller," which, you know, who's happy they
Mhm.
never bought stock, or not even stock, but never purchased any land on the island, was Charlotte. They're very happy that they didn't buy any of that.
Yeah.
Brandon Miller Island's
Yeah.
doing quite well. Now, the main thing for Portland, I
Man.
think, is as far as you
Yeah.
bring up, like, oh, they'll probably get smacked. You know, next season, they gotta either see one or like Sharp or Scoot has got to take a step up, or
Yeah.
a move because the
I
Jazz
mean,
are going to be
I
better next
think
year. I think the
Sharp
Jazz are going to be the
is
Trailblazers
probably
this season. The
mm,
Jazz are going to take a step up.
but next year
Yeah.
where they're fighting in that play-in. Okay. Okay. Um, I can definitely see that. Obviously, because there's kind of the blueprint there for both of them. You have Laurie Markkinen in what would be the Denny role. You have the Ace Bailey in what would potentially be, well, he's not really like Scoot. I guess you could say he's kind of in the, I don't know, Jeremy Grant. roll. I'm not sure, but yeah, no, I can definitely see that for Utah next year because they're gonna have this pick. If that lands in the top four and they get one of these guys that look like four kind of NBA ready guys, along with actually trying to win,
Jaren
Ace getting a
Jackson
year
Jr.,
better, and Laurie, uh, I forgot. Yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. as well too in the
Walker
clinging
Kessler.
role, we'll say, even though he can't rebound. Yeah, yeah, God.
They're just tanking their ass off.
Mhm,
They would have been in the
mhm.
play-in this year. They just decided to not be. I
Yeah,
mean, look at the
yeah.
amount of guys they have. Come on.
The Angels have no
No,
shame.
they don't. And they really want AJ. It's so super obvious they want AJ. I wouldn't be surprised with his connections to the ownership of the Jazz if he, I mean, Ace Bailey, he fell on his face trying to force himself somewhere last year, but DeBonsa might have more juice and
Mhm,
is like, don't draft me. Do not draft me. I want to go to Utah. Do not draft me. If you're the Wizards or any of these other teams, do not draft me. And he forces his way.
mhm.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, Portland, man, happy for him. Happy for the city. Repping Migration Brewing tonight. Portland brand brewery. And hell yeah.
Yep. I'm uh I'm repping my Red Hot and Rollin'
Nice.
Blazers hat. The kind of motto they had when old Bill Walton was rolling with them. Yeah. What I was gonna say about DeBonsa was, could he do the reverse of what some of these other guys do and, like get caught instead of like getting caught smoking weed or crashing your car or like acting like a weirdo, he goes the other way and like just acts super Mormon and religious and pulls basically like a
Yeah.
Jaden
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ivey
Yeah.
with these other organizations. It was like, I am so Mormon, it will not work for me in a different city. I need to be in the state of Utah. And then he plays 5 years there and he comes to the Celtics like we're all envisioning. And everybody lives happily ever after. Um, but yeah, no, that'll be interesting for them. But no, good lead for Portland. Congratulations to them. Moving on to the playoffs, and it's good to see Portland back, and the city will be hyped around that because I'm happy. I'm happy Portland has that. It's their only major sports team. I mean, they got the
Timbers.
Thorns and the Timbers, but doesn't quite get the city going quite like the Blazers
Yeah.
does. You
Who do
know,
you think Phoenix wants to play on Friday?
I mean, I guess the Clippers. Well, in a one game situation, I don't know if you'd want to go like you're not going to have the best guy on the court, so that's always scary. But you're also not going to have it against Golden State either, so it doesn't really matter. No, they would. What am I saying? Yeah, they would obviously rather have Golden State. Golden State seems like they're ready
Yeah.
to. I don't know. Does it
Yeah, I
matter?
think they're going to win
Does it
either
really matter
way,
with
but
either of these
honestly, if
teams?
I'm them, definitely hoping Golden
Yeah,
State pulls, a rabbit out of its ass and, put Chemsky
I know. I'm just
and
thinking about
some of
like
these
what
dudes. I mean, I don't even know who's on Golden State at this point. They have a bunch of dudes that are like they're not playoff.
Guy Santos.
Yeah, Gil Santos. It's like, man, they are. I mean, I guess.
What's Guy? It's
I guess. Okay. Well, I guess. It theoretically Porzingis and Steph, if they're healthy, sure. But yeah, I don't. I think the Clippers
yeah.
are they're gonna win.
I
And then I think Phoenix.
I mean, at what point does the Warriors front office be like, hey, probably be a good idea if we got in the draft? Okay. Like, does it change anything? It only hurts people's legacies to go out there and just get demolished in,
By the
you know,
Thunder.
4 games. Yeah. I mean,
Like
that'd
those
be kind of
games that
sad.
Memphis had where they were
Like,
losing
at
by
least if you
50 and 40 points. Miami.
Miami
Yeah,
versus
it's
Cleveland
brutal.
last year. Yeah, it was bad. No, and I hope that the Clippers win regardless because I do think that would be a better game for the 8 spot. And also, the Clippers get in. There's talent on the roster. You got, Matherin and you got Garland and you got Kawhi. Could they throw one punch and take a game at home? I think they could. I think they could. I think they could take one. I could see a scenario where Kawhi is like, holy shit, Kawhi has 45, 10, and 5, and he played lockdown defense on Shea tonight, you know? Like there's that scenario. If Golden State was somehow to get it, that's four quick. Four quick. Um, and then Phoenix, I think that's four pretty quick as well too. But the Clippers also have the chance of losing to both of these teams by 30. That's why they're the Los Angeles Clippers. So, and this is why we play. This is why we
Well,
play the game,
conspiracy
Todd.
theories out there. Golden State in the lottery. Do they want to hook Steph up with a little bit
Yeah,
of, little, yeah, a little
parting
bit of,
gift.
Debansta or any of those guys. Yeah,
Einstein.
that would be interesting. I definitely think they lose, and I would be excited to watch. I would be more excited to watch a Phoenix versus Clippers game for that eighth seed. I think either way, they're gonna get each team would get smacked by the Thunder. But yeah, I look forward to that 8 seed matchup. Not as excited for the games tomorrow, though. I can't lie. Not as intrigued.
Yeah. No, I was more in on the ones today. It does feel like real quick, and then we should probably not talk anymore about draft. But it does feel like Cam Boozer would be a great warrior. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
Win
that's
now.
a we know he's gonna be good.
Smart.
We'll plug him in. He's ready to play now. He's a pro. He's been around the
Not
NBA for a
Jonathan
long
Kaminga.
time. And the Warriors could get up to, yeah, yeah. And the Warriors could potentially get up to like that 3 spot because he might go 3. He might go 4. You never know, but he might go 1. This draft is gonna be weird. I think it's gonna be a
Based
lot
on
of
who's picking. Yeah,
fit.
fit, because they're all really good.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, as far as
But anyway,
the
let's get to
Charlotte,
this. Let's get to
yeah,
this other play-in game. Yeah, banger of a game. Banger of a game. Oh, that was awesome. One of the
was
best
that
I've
the
seen all
LaMelo
year.
Ball game for good and bad reasons?
No,
For all of
it
the
was,
reasons, for the shistiness that he pulled at the
yeah,
very beginning of the game, potentially fucking up Bam's
yeah,
offseason,
yeah,
and also
yeah,
like blatantly traveling on a major play and fucking acting like he just created a new move that like Kyrie Irving would be in awe of. And then hitting the
yeah. It was a
game
clear
winner after
travel.
blowing the game. There were so many moments where I'm like, bro, you are impossible. I thought we graduated from this, man.
Yeah. I mean, look, he had some good plays. I actually could not believe my fucking eyes when I saw 30, 10, and 5. I was like, there's no way he put up that stat line. But when you shoot the ball 31 times, even if you only make 12 of them, you end up with 30 points. He went 2 of 16 from 3 to match his running mate Khan's 0 for 6 and 2 for 12 from the field. Uh, Unbelievable that they won with those stats, but then again, also Bam was out at the beginning of the second quarter, so it kind of threw everything off. First of all, Charlotte doesn't win if Bam doesn't go out. So like celebrate all they want. It's big asterisk, okay? I mean, it was the other guys that were good for Charlotte. I mean, Bridges kept them in it in the first half on both sides of the ball. Couple really good blocks,
Game winning block at the end too.
and he finished with 20 game-winning block at the end. And just steadying on offense while even though both teams had a hot start, they kind of started to cool off after kind of the initial juice, which is weird because you'd think it'd be the other way. But no, LaMelo Ball has to thank Bridges for keeping them in it, Diabate for getting 8 offensive rebounds, and then when he had officially really shot them out of the game, to Kobe White for going God mode and going uh Aaron Neesmith Eastern Conference
Yeah, that
playoffs
9 point
in
stretch at like
at the
what
end of
the
the
end
game.
of I don't remember when exactly it was, but he hit 3 straight threes where I was like,
In the
whoa.
third? Yeah. Yeah. And then when we thought the game was over again and the Miami Heat had pulled it out, Kobe White with the inbounds pass or catching the inbounds pass, quick just jump, turn around, kind of off balance shot, smack to three. Um, After Wiggins had just made back to back threes with like 3.5 minutes left to go up by six. So just crazy game. You said it. Simmons said it. This game was drunk and just a lot of clutch shots on both
Yeah, I
teams.
said to you at 5:45, which I think was probably around halftime, I go, I hope LaMelo doesn't shoot them out of this game. 2 for 7 on threes and 14 shots in the first half. I like when they're more balanced and he's playing more like Halliburton. And he did exactly. I mean, I'm not his coach, so he's not fucking listening to me, but he did. It was driving me fucking crazy because I wanted Charlotte to win really bad because they're way more entertaining than Miami. Um, and
Yeah.
I feel like Khan's gonna get a lot of shit. Like he wasn't even closing the game. He didn't play a lot. I don't think in the fourth quarter because Kobe White was on a fucking heat. But I mean, part of it is that LaMelo, I think, just has the overall like okay, like it's his team type vibe. But I think if you were just letting Kobe White bring the ball up and had still on the floor instead of LaMelo, I think that things are going better for them. There were so many ugly, terrible shots that LaMelo took that, yeah, some of them, not enough of them went in. But some of those threes, especially when you've missed like 10 in a row, I'm like, dude. And good things happen when he goes to the rim. Good things happen. He can go to the rim
Yeah.
whenever he wants. So I don't get why he wasn't just fucking breaking guys down off the dribble and getting to the rim.
His slashing kicks out to Brandon Miller were fantastic. That it allowed Brandon Miller to go 5 for 10 from three and drop 23 points. Those were working all night, especially after Bridges as well too.
Yeah. Like I said, I think when he gets to the rim, like really good things happen. I just think tonight his ball usage was too high. He was on ball way too much and he needs to find a way to impact the game without always having to dribble the air out of the ball. I think,
Yeah.
Halliburton is a really good example of a player. I think he's a more talented, more athletic, possibly better version of Halliburton. I just think Halliburton's a smarter player. And I do. I honestly do. I think LaMelo, he's got really, really, really impressive athleticism. I just don't think I don't think he's a
I
bright
know.
person, if I'm being frank.
Yeah, that's it took me. I mean, it's a we're gonna have to have the Lamelo Halliburton
No,
debate.
Halliburton's better.
Next year we'll see. No, Halliburton is better. I know. But I'm just saying there's a comparison that caught me a little bit off guard. But you're not wrong. Like Lamelo Ball has been very good this year, and the way he's able to kind of drive, contort his body, and just his range and his 3-point shooting is just unbelievable. He's a fantastic player, and he's one of the best passers in the league too. So now I am kind of talking myself into it. It's just crazy after what Halliburton was able to lead Indiana to last year.
I would like
Um,
to give a shout out, but I was trying to shout out Khalil Ware. When Bam went out, he really picked up the slack. And I think that's something that Miami can point to for next season and say, look, when him and Bam are on the floor and hopefully Khalil Ware continues to improve, like they could be a really, really good defensive team.
Mhm.
I mean, some of the blocks that he had, along with the 19 rebounds, it was really impressive. And his ability to shoot the three.
Yeah. No, where I mean, he stepped up big time in this game, and I've seen some of the stats and some of the games he's put up, but I haven't really had to watch him a ton. But he was really, really solid. I mean, 19 rebounds is just insane. Um, and to do it and step up when Bam went down, he is impressive by him. And I don't know if you said it, but yeah, part of the reason why they didn't want to include him in the Kevin Durant trade because I think they saw the potential with that length and athletic ability and defensive prowess. So good for him. And they got a lot to build on for next year. If he continues to develop, then that's great. I don't know what his ceiling is because it has been kind of such an up and down year. I mean, I know for a few weeks at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh, shit, do these guys have a Giannis? But not quite, not quite. Although
Where
maybe
the
he's a
hell was
trade
Norm
piece.
Powell?
He's
He
a
did
trade piece for
not show up
Giannis.
for them.
No,
Hero ended up
absolutely.
showing up down the stretch, but Norm Powell, every time he got the ball, he couldn't get by anybody. And this is supposed to be a guy that can get a shot off really at anywhere, anytime. That's kind of his whole deal is like, look, I can score. I'm kind of a microwave. He couldn't get by anybody tonight. I was really disappointed in him.
Yeah, I was surprised how much Wiggins had to do with Norm Powell being MIA. Tough one on his resume, and not like he has a bunch of great playoff moments anyway. So that's gonna
Got
be
a ring.
remembered. It's gonna be remembered for a bit. What? He does
He's
have a
got, I
ring.
mean, he did, yeah, no, but, coming off
No,
the
he was
bench as
good
kind
on
of a guy
he
that
was
was,
good on Toronto, but like
yeah,
he was Toronto's fifth,
yeah,
sixth
no, he's coming off
option.
the bench. Like, yeah, no,
Yeah,
that team was sneaky loaded.
loaded.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
They did a great job of putting that together, and they just had to give up DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard.
They had a
I
bunch
mean,
of, like, third bananas.
yeah,
There's third bananas all over the place. OJ Anunoby and Pascal Siakam and fucking Marc Gasol and fucking Kyle Lowry
yeah.
and then Norm Powell. Like again, just a lot of third bananas. And then you add Kawhi. You don't really need a second banana
And then yeah, God, and then you had Serge Ibaka, and you had Marc
towards the end.
Gasol. I mean, they there were some dudes on that team, and they still wouldn't have won if the Warriors would have just stayed healthy, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
that's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that series probably still isn't even close if they just don't blow out their knees.
Another
But yeah,
moment that was crazy was when Charlotte just melted down when they started throwing the zone at them, and then Charles Lee had to call a timeout. He was like, "Hey, do you guys know how to play offense against the zone?" Came back out. They hit some shots,
yeah,
and then it comes down to the wire. Grant Williams is shooting like the biggest shot of their season because LaMelo Ball just dribbled the air out of the ball and then got caught. I'm like, what are you doing?
it was
It's
bad.
your go to the rim. They can't stop you. And it just, there were so many frustrating things about that game. Honestly, the fact that Miami even got that close to stealing that game without Bam is a testament
Yeah,
to how good of a coach Eric Spoelstra is.
yeah, it was honestly having. See, they don't have a guy. If you put a guy on this Miami team, it would be actually really scary because they do have depth. They do have a bunch of dudes they can throw out there with Hawkes and Wiggins and I mean Powell was MIA, but on most nights, and Bam and Hero and like Pelle Larson has been playing well for them.
Possible Kawhi destination?
Sure,
No,
whatever.
I mean, people are talking about him maybe on the fucking Warriors next year. The Warriors were trying to trade for him, apparently. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
They also put a package together for Giannis, but we'll see. We'll see if he
Yeah,
gets
that's
moved.
all.
But
Yeah.
of,
But that's
of
a good
course
point.
he.
They have a deep team. They just don't have a star,
Yeah.
which you need.
No, I mean it would be scary if Kawhi was healthy with the rest of the Miami roster. Because yeah, I mean with the Clippers right now, he doesn't really have a number two guy. I mean, you've got Garland, and you've got a couple guys there, but like Bam is like a legit number two, like a potential championship like number two. And Hero, if he was moved to three, is a good third option. Is a great
And
third
Norm Powell
option.
as your fourth option, and
Yeah, and then
Khalil
everything.
Ware as your young star, like as your
Yeah,
young up and coming guy. Like, yeah, they have a real Andrew Wiggins. I mean,
yeah.
fucking Davion Mitchell tonight balled out. Like, they have really good players.
Davion Mitchell was their
It's
number
just,
one tonight. He was
yeah,
really good, actually. I will give that to him. He was really good tonight.
Khan being a -20, again, I don't fully understand that. I honestly think it just had to do with the lineups that he was playing with. He never played with Kobe White, and it felt like when Kobe White came in the game, it flipped. But I honestly think if they took LaMelo out instead of Khan, I think I already made this point already, but I just don't understand how LaMelo Ball could put up those stats and have that plus minus when I watched the game, and it felt like he was fucking them over a lot. And I got to be honest, if they call that travel, I, what are we having a dude LaMelo fucked them like
Yeah.
thing, you know?
He went
I don't
from
know.
scapegoat to hero with one play.
Yeah,
Lucky
one
dog.
missed call.
Lucky dog.
Great game though. Really great
Yeah.
game.
Good games.
Is that the greatest Charlotte NBA moment ever? I mean, we were talking about this before. I said I wasn't there for Baron Davis or Zoe and Grandma Ma in the 90s. So like, but at least in my basketball life, like since I
In our
really started
lifetime,
following the
yeah.
league in like 06, 07, this is like sure, they were maybe in like game sevens with Kemba or whatever, but like they were completely irrelevant and on NBA TV like clockwork. Like nobody cared about the way that those series played out at all. This feels like a real thing that heading in next year, they will be considered, oh, are they going to be a top 4 team in the East? They're going to be like Orlando was this year heading into it. And we'll
Yeah.
see if they can surpass what Orlando did.
The expectation for them next year should be to have
50.
home court advantage in the first round.
Yeah.
Like Orlando is going to look different. Cleveland might blow it up. You're going to be down there trying to make your way up with like Atlanta, 76ers. Who knows what the 76ers could even look like next year. Although I do think Maxi and VJ will at least have the level of competence that we can expect from them.
Who's Charlotte rooting for tomorrow?
If I'm Charlotte, Orlando, I'm rooting for Orlando. I mean, I know the Sixers don't have Embiid, but Maxi's so good, and Paul George is back, and the Magic are just
You think Charlotte's rooting for Orlando to lose, so they play them.
yeah, they want to play the Magic.
Right.
Like,
So they're
did I
rooting
say
for Philadelphia to win. Okay, I see. Yeah.
yes? Yes, I said
It's
it
a
wrong.
different scenario than fucking the West because for whatever reason they did the 9-10 and then the 7-8 for the West
Yeah, they
tonight
did it
and then the 9-10
backwards.
for the East. So yeah, I mean previewing the Sixers Magic game, I honestly just I think if you're Charlotte, you'd rather play. I think you'd rather play the Sixers because it's gonna be more your style. Without Embiid, you're getting up and down with Maxi and VJ versus the Magic are going to play a style like Miami where they're just going to slow it down. It's going to be plotting. It's going to be, and I think Charlotte wants to get up and down, up and down. More threes that they take, the better for them. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they don't really care. It's just they got to win the game. But yeah, I don't know what to make of that Phoenix or of the Philadelphia Orlando game, honestly. With the way that those teams have been playing, you could tell me that anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Yeah, hell yeah, word to Kevin Garnett. I think the Sixers are gonna win. I think the Sixers win handily. I really do. That Magic loss in the last
Yeah.
game of the year, I'm just like, okay, so you're telling me that team's done, right? Like,
Celtics put out like a fucking G League team,
dude,
and they
that
had all
was
their guys playing.
that was ridiculous. That was insane. I mean, just you suck.
And that was for them to avoid the play-in.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. That's bad vibes. Yeah, their coach
That, no, he's done. He's done. People already know he's done. It doesn't matter what happens in the playoffs. He's done. Like
is
that's hard. It's
it
already
doesn't
getting
matter if they win the title, is he still done?
done. Done. You're out.
Yeah.
Because if they win, it won't be because of him. It'll be because of my boy Paolo Banchero.
Right.
No, Sixers,
Yeah.
and then the other game tomorrow, Warriors Clippers. I'm gonna say Clippers.
Yeah, I think we are. We already went over Clippers and that. As far as the Magic
Yeah,
and Sixers, I think you're right. I think the Sixers win. The vibes with Orlando are terrible.
so bad.
And you're right. Maybe it's just a situation where they're like, look, fuck it. Like it doesn't matter if we're the 7 or 8 seed. Like they want all. They're ready to go 1, 2, 3 Cancun and call it a year and get a new coach. And maybe Paolo's looking for property in Sacramento, California here in a few weeks.
Or Milwaukee.
That would be the desperation move by Orlando.
I'd be down. If I'm Orlando, fuck it.
Yeah,
And if I'm Milwaukee, I'm like, that's it's not a bad guy to get back.
it's more like Greece in Orlando than Milwaukee is.
We love, that's what they say. Milwaukee is the Greece of the Midwest.
Yeah, apparently Giannis is hardcore. Like, I don't want to sign an extension out west because
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
5 hours further away from Greece, which is reasonable. But we'll have to get into that in the offseason.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, we've hit midnight here in the mountain time. Fantastic night of basketball. Great time. One can only hope tomorrow's games live up to tonight's, but that seems a little unlikely. That seems a little unlikely. It will certainly be, I think, less entertaining from a star standpoint at the very least, but we'll see. Can't go into it with bad mindset. I'm just happy that there's important basketball being played.
Yeah, Steph, Kawhi, VJ and Maxi versus Paolo and Franz should be interesting somewhat, but it's just the vibes are just all wrong with the teams. So anyway, looking forward to it, and then I guess we'll talk on Thursday previewing the first round.
Can't wait. All right. Everybody have good vibes like we watched tonight, and I bid you adieu. Good job by you, Todd.
Good job by you, buddy. Love you guys.